If you're a qualitative researcher, you know the feeling, right? That little knot in your stomach when someone asks that one simple question. A question that can totally stall a project and just create endless doubt. Well, today, we're going to untie that knot for good. And there it is, the big one. How many people do I actually need to talk to? It's a huge source of stress for everybody, from grad students to seasoned professionals, because we all feel like there should be some simple magic number. But here's the secret. There isn't one. Okay, let's really dive into this because the goal here isn't to find a magic number. The goal is to completely change how we think about the question itself. It's about building a solid justification, not just, picking a number out of thin air. And to do that, we're going to lean on the work of Dr. Philip Adu. He breaks this whole problem down into a really clear three-factor framework. Think of these as the three pillars that will give you the tools to build a powerful, defensible reason for your specific study. So, first up, your research approach. This is super important. The number of participants you need is fundamentally totally tied to the design of your study. Let me break down what that really means. So, ask yourself, are you only conducting interviews? Or are you using a richer, kind of multi-source approach? Are you also analyzing documents, doing observations, or maybe running focus groups? See, the more varied your data sources are, the more comprehensive a picture you can build, and that might actually influence how many individual people you need to talk to. And this brings us to a really crucial trade-off, depth versus breadth. If your study involves spending a lot of time with each person, say you're doing multiple follow-up interviews, you're gathering incredibly rich data from a smaller group. And that is a very different animal than doing quick one-off interviews with a whole bunch of people. Okay, now for our second factor. And this one is like the guiding star for all qualitative data collection: saturation. You can think of it as the big green light that tells you when you can finally stop collecting data. So what is it really? Well, saturation is that point you hit in your research where you just start hearing the same things over and over again. A new interview doesn't give you some new theme or a surprising insight. Instead, it just confirms what you've already learned. That is your signal that you're getting close to a sufficient sample size. And this right here is the essential mindset shift. We have to stop asking, how many people do I need? And instead start asking, what is the number needed to reach saturation? The focus moves from the count to the quality and the insight. Your final number is just the result of that process. All right, our third and final factor is the one that grounds the entire plan in reality: accessibility. This is where we get practical and just, honest about what's actually possible. Look, you might have the most perfect research design on paper, but it doesn't mean a thing if you can't actually get access to the people you want to study. Are you trying to research a really hard-to-reach population? Maybe CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. Recognizing and just stating your limitations in accessing people is a critical and totally legitimate part of the process. And let's be really clear about this. Acknowledging constraints like your time, your budget, and your access, that is not a weakness. It's the exact opposite. It shows you've thought through the real-world logistics of your study. Including these practical considerations actually makes your justification for your sample size way stronger and more credible. So, by combining these three factors, your approach, your journey towards saturation, and your actual accessibility, we can stop stressing out about some magic number and start building a really powerful argument. Think of this table as your new best friend, your go-to tool. It boils everything we've talked about down to three core questions. Answering them honestly, based on your specific project, doesn't give you a magic number. It gives you something so much more powerful: a rock-solid justification. So let's end with this. Let's just agree to throw out that old, anxiety-inducing question. Because what if the real, more powerful question isn't how many is enough, but is actually, how can I justify my number? When you can answer that question with confidence, using these three factors, that's when you'll know you're on the right track.